Hi, Andrew with Evermore Studio. I made this card for the 2024 Light Up Poptober event Chibitronics coordinated. The prompt for this project was reverse. I'm going to walk through all the details of making it, so this may be a little less concise than most of my videos. Mechanically, this is inspired by a design by Professor Masahiro Chitani. The abstract pop-up structure I am calling the Crystal is a piece of laser-cut heavy cardstock with a tracing vellum diffuser glued to the inside. Using this cold roll applicator to apply some permanent adhesive for the diffuser was not quite optimal. Even applied to the lattice piece, it leaves a film that spans the openings and takes days to dry. In the future, I would probably use a spray adhesive for this. These two plain dark blue threads are the primary anchor for the Crystal. The fold-over tab and embedding them in lines of PVA glue are all in service to making their attachment solid. The other two attachments are made with conductive thread, one each for the positive and negative lines between the battery and the LED. I used a glue stick to tack those in place along the frame of the lattice. A red Chibitronics circuit sticker goes over the ends of the conductive threads on the end of the little arm that will hang down inside of the Crystal. Regular testing while building helps ensure I don't get too far along without catching a problem with the circuit. Some matching washi tape helps make sure the conductive threads stay tacked down and reduces the opportunities for short circuits. Up next is folding the panels of the Crystal with the help of a bone folder. There's one pair of edges that have to be hinged together to complete the Crystal. The washi tape won't stand up to the abuse of repeated foldings of that joint, but served well as a quick and easy piece that I could attach with the quick-drying PVA glue. After convincing myself I hadn't glued anything more than I wanted, I clamped the joint and left it to dry completely. The backing card is 3 layers. The middle layer provides the hinge for the card and has a cutout to make space for the battery. One side gets the permanent adhesive. Then the inner panels, the side where the Crystal will be, get attached with careful alignment. After making some quick pencil markings for the locations of the battery terminals and the spot where the conductive tape will go up to the outer layer, I build this part of the circuit with conductive fabric tape. The strips are a little irregular because I only had 1/2-inch wide tape that I cut down. These flat batteries were developed for medical applications. They are kind of expensive, but are great for hiding inside of paper electronics like this. From the previous prototype, I learned that the adhesive on the conductive fabric tape is not quite adequate to keep it connected to these battery terminals. I made some little wraps from copper tape with conductive adhesive to help firm up the connections. And a couple more little strips for good measure. Sorry about botching the focus here. A quick test with the multimeter to be sure that worked. Now the anchor threads go through the hole on the central hinge. They attach separately with strips of black washi tape. I'm hoping that making an angled turn provides some extra resistance to being able to pull the threads back out. The excess gets cut off and the other side gets the same treatment. Now the negative conductive thread goes through and attaches to the line from the battery. It needs to stay in contact with the conductive fabric tape and is also one of the mechanical attachment points for the Crystal. So it has to be well anchored. I switched to repositionable adhesive for attaching the outer layer. That lets me get back inside if I need to make adjustments or replace the battery. The positive line goes to one side of the switch on the outside via a small slot in the last layer. The second conductive thread goes all the way through all 3 layers of the card. I could have just put the panel on first here. I used a cutting plotter to cut some spirals from wide copper tape with conductive adhesive. These are chiral for aesthetic reasons. Using a simple template, I mark where the copper spirals will go. This is a little smaller than the copper spirals so that the pencil lines will be covered. I ended up adding a piece of the black washi tape across the hinge on the outer layer for a little extra support. When the sides of the card are reversed and the card is open 360 degrees, the copper spirals touch, completing the positive leg of the circuit. I hope you enjoyed this and that it inspires you to try playing with paper electronics. Questions and comments are welcome.